How far have you gotten on your mission to eliminate racial and ethnic disparities in criminal justice reform? Is it woven into the American fabric, or is it something that can be eliminated?
You know, it makes me think at times when I feel emotionally drained, beat up, feel like we're not making enough progress, that it seems, as you said, woven in the American fabric. When I go to a training and I simply talk about, I ask African American participants their experiences in the program, and here's what they say. It's the truth because it's their truthful experience. And by some, again, it is a small handful, but by some, it's rejected, it's dismissed. They become defensive. It can be very disheartening. So there's a part of me of, man, I've been working on this for 10 years. It's been a decade now, started in 2012. And my research agenda is it's miles long, but it's only an inch wide. It's very specific. When you enter drug court, I want you to have equal chances of graduating, regardless of the color of your skin. That's it. That's my research. So at times it can be very disheartening to witness some of the things in treatment courts that I witnessed, to see the defensiveness in some that I've seen where they don't want to address the issue. And then I have to sit back and then I have to just be honest. That's a few. The fact that you and I, Todd, we're having this conversation now gives me hope. The fact that an HBCU, Morgan State University, said, we are well aware of the research that John's doing, and we would like him to work for us, is a sign of hope. The fact that the leader, the National Association of Drug Court Professionals, has said, we ain't stopping till we fix this problem, because we will not be an extension of a historically oppressive criminal justice system. We're here to reform the system, particularly for those that have addictions or mental illnesses, provides me hope. The fact that the federal government, there are large grants, very large grants from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, specific to addressing racial and ethnic disparities in treatment courts, is promising. So we have a long way to go. I am hopeful that we've made good progress, and I think we have. But I tell you, Todd, at times when I do recent studies, I kind of get emotionally beat up. And like I said, we did a study for a Midwestern court. I mean, it hasn't even been published yet. It's coming out in about 2 weeks. We just did it. That's 65 to 70% of white participants in these treatment courts in this Midwestern state graduated, and every other race and ethnicity was less than 30. Boy, that's disheartening. But then I sit back and I say, wait, the fact that this Midwestern state allowed this research to happen, that's it. That's criminal justice reform. And the fact that they want to know the results and they are allowing us to publish it in an academic journal for all to read is actually a good thing. So I will say, I get mixed feelings at times, and I'm sure it has to do with my own, stress levels and emotional well-being. Because as you shared, Todd, you the work that you do, you love, and it doesn't feel like a job. The same with me. I love hearing people's stories, hence what makes me a good counselor, and also a qualitative researcher where I hear people's stories. I love hearing people's stories and being able to share it. But man, sometimes you see as clear as day, the explicit bias and then the implicit biases that are in our system. And the fact that they're there and we can talk about them, that's a good thing. If there's disparities in a drug court, but we're willing to research it and talk about it, that's a good thing. The disparity ain't good, but now we know. It's the courts that don't want to talk about it that concern me and that get me, as you said, kind of disheartened into the as you said, kind of woven into our, what I would say, kind of particularly, not that it's not woven into the American culture, but particularly the criminal justice culture. Because as social workers, we're asking for a paradigm shift. In drug courts, we're not here to catch you doing something wrong. We're here to catch you doing something right in the criminal justice system. They have sanctions in treatment courts, but they also have incentives. Let's praise you for doing well. And there's also a paradigm shift in treatment courts from we know what's best for you to, quite frankly, we know the law and we have absolutely no idea what's best for you in treatment. Let us support you as you develop your treatment plan. So, I'm not a man that's to stay on the fence, right? I am typically honest, open, and can answer questions. But at times I think I get disheartened and like, man, I'm not sure we're doing it. I'm not sure we're getting the point across. And then I sit back and I say, no, we're still talking about it. And, the fact that we're talking about it's good. But also, I worked under Donald Trump's administration. I did consulting work that was funded by the office of the president. And I don't get into politics too much. And this isn't anything, well, there's a fact. Under Donald Trump's administration, he signed some executive order. Again, I'm not much into politics. I don't know all about it. But basically, federal employees could not use the word equity. And I read the executive order, was in there. I was working on a project that was funded through the office of the president. And I had to do, say, an equity and inclusion training. And I was told before I went on, and I get it, I was told by people who are just following the rules, you can't use the word equity.
Wow.
See, that in itself is a policy that says, stop talking about this. That's disheartening.
Yeah.
Imagine doing an equity training and not saying the word equity. Right? And again, that is, it's not, it's not, I'm siding with the political position. It's a fact. Donald Trump signed an executive order, said you can't use the word equity. I'm sure there's many more details to that political executive order that I know. And so I'm not going to spend, but I know how it impacted me is, John, you can do this training. Don't say the word equity because it's funded by the federal government. That in itself is racism woven into our political system and to our American culture, because it says, John, shut the hell up about this topic.
Right.
We don't want you talking about it. And as social workers, we say, oh no, we are not going to get through this without having dialogue.
Right.
And they know that. So they try to silence it. Of course, when Biden administration took over, that executive order was released, and now I can say equity.
Right. Right.